Oh, there are so many yummy vegetarian options out there. You could try like lentil soup, veggie burgers, tofu stir fry. The possibilities are endless. You know, when most of us hear the words tax return, we think of one thing, an obligation, a chore, right? But what if I told you it's actually something else entirely? What if it's a key that can unlock thousands of dollars in benefits that you're entitled to, especially for Indigenous peoples in Canada? Well, today, we're going to explore exactly how you can use that key. As a professor of taxation, I always tell my students we have to start with the foundation. And in this case, that foundation is Section 87 of the Indian Act. Now, this is a really critical piece of legislation. In simple terms, what it says is that employment income earned on a reserve by a person registered under the Act is tax exempt. This one concept is the starting point for everything we're going to talk about. Okay, so that brings up a really logical question, one I get asked all the time. If your income is tax exempt, why on earth would you bother filing a tax return at all? It seems like a lot of extra paperwork for no real reason. But the answer to this question is where all the real value is hiding. And here's the answer. And believe me, this is a total game changer. You have to start thinking of your tax return differently. It's not about paying the government, it's your official application to get money from the government. You see, the Canada Revenue Agency, the CRA, uses this one single document to determine your eligibility for a whole host of non-taxable benefits. So filing, even with zero taxable income to report, is the action that opens the door to all this support. So, where does all this financial support actually start? Let's jump right into our first section and look at one of the biggest areas, support for your family. The absolute cornerstone of this whole support system is something called the Canada Child's Benefit, or you'll hear it called the CCB. What is it? Well, it's a tax-free monthly payment designed specifically to help families manage the, let's be honest, high costs of raising children under 18. This is real money. Direct financial assistance that shows up in your bank account every month. So let's talk numbers, because the impact here is, well, it's huge. For this current benefit year, you could receive up to $7,787 for each child under 6 and up to $6,570 for each child between 6 and 17. Now, the really important part to remember is that the amount you receive is tied directly to the income you report on your tax return, which is why filing is so crucial. So you might be wondering, okay, who actually gets this? The criteria are pretty straightforward. First, you have to live with the child and be the one who's primarily responsible for their care. You also need to be a resident of Canada for tax purposes. And here's the critical part. You or your partner must meet one of these status requirements. And I want you to notice that being registered under the Indian Act is explicitly listed here, ensuring access to this benefit. Right, so that idea of being the primary caregiver can sometimes get a little complicated, especially with different custody arrangements. This table breaks it down really simply. If the child lives with you at least 40% of the time, that's called shared custody. In that case, you and the other parent each get 50% of the payment. But once you cross that 60% threshold, it's considered full custody for CCB purposes, and you receive 100% of the benefit. Now, on top of the standard CCB, there's even more targeted support for families who might need it most. We're talking about the Child Disability Benefit. This is specifically designed to provide extra financial help to those caring for a child under 18 with a severe and prolonged physical or mental impairment. And this benefit is not small. It can provide up to an additional $3,322 a year for each eligible child. And just like the CCB, it's completely tax-free. Now, here's the key thing you need to know. This benefit is unlocked by something called the Disability Tax Credit, or DTC. We'll circle back and dive deeper into the DTC in a little bit, but for now, just know it's the gateway to this extra support. The benefits of filing don't stop with family support. Let's move on. Your tax return also unlocks credits that help with the general cost of living. You know, money designed to help with all those everyday expenses. A perfect example of this is the GST/HST credit. Think about it. Every day, you pay sales tax on things you buy, right? Well, this is a tax-free payment the government sends you every quarter to help offset that cost. It's like a little rebate. As you can see from the table, the amount you get depends on your family situation. And the best part, you don't have to apply separately. You're automatically considered for it just by filing your taxes. Next up, we have the Canada Workers' Benefit, or CWB. Now, this is a really powerful one. It's a refundable tax credit aimed specifically at people who are working but earning a low income. It's designed to give you a financial boost and make being in the workforce more rewarding. And the value here is pretty significant. The CWB can provide up to $1,590 for an individual and up to $2,739 for a family. Let me be crystal clear about something. This is a refundable credit. That means it's actual cash paid back to you, even if you owe zero in income tax. All you have to do is file your return and meet the criteria. And to round out this section, there's the Canada Carbon Rebate. If you live in one of the eligible provinces, this is another automatic, tax-free, quarterly payment. It's designed to offset the cost of the federal carbon pricing system. And you guessed it, the only thing you need to do to get it is file your tax return. All right, so beyond those broad-based credits, your tax return also opens the door to more specialized support for specific situations. And honestly, these can be some of the most impactful benefits of all. Let's dig in. Let's circle back to the disability tax credit, the DTC I mentioned earlier. On the surface, it looks like a non-refundable credit that can lower income tax for people with disabilities or their families. But its real power isn't just in saving on taxes, it's in what it unlocks. See? This is what I mean when I say it unlocks things. Getting approved for the DTC is like being handed a master key to a whole suite of other federal programs. Even if you have no taxable income, DTC approval grants you access to things like the Registered Disability Savings Plan, or RDSP, and that child disability benefit we just discussed. It is an absolutely critical designation to get if you or a family member are eligible. You know, the tax system also recognizes that where you live really matters. For those in prescribed northern zones, there are the Northern Residence Deductions. These allow you to deduct amounts for both residency and travel, helping to offset the higher cost of living. It's basically an acknowledgement of the unique challenges of life in the North. We've covered the why, the thousands of dollars in benefits that are on the table. So let's finish with the practical part. How do you actually file your return and access the support? The good news is the process is designed to be accessible. You have options. You can file online with free certified software, you can visit a free tax clinic and get help from a trained volunteer, or you can use the simplified paper tax package created specifically for Indigenous peoples. No matter your comfort level with technology or paperwork, there's a pathway for you. You know, this quote really gets to the very heart of the matter. The key takeaway today is to change how you think about filing taxes. It's not about obligation. It's about your rights. It's an act of empowerment to claim the financial support that is yours. So I'll leave you with this final question. Don't let this just be interesting information. Make it actionable. Whether it's finding a local tax clinic, researching the DTC for your family, or just gathering your documents in one place, what is one small step you will take this week to claim your benefits? Thank you for joining me.